to paint.
Cézanne kept moving, not knowing if he would ever reach his destination. Zola did what he did best, writing about what he knew and the people he knew.
I'm late, I know. I'm sorry. My train, there was an error in the timetable. Oh.
Could you find some employment for your fork? How is the boy? How is he?
He's very well. He spends most of his time outdoors.
I should like to meet him. Would you mind?
Not at all. Say good morning, Paul. Say good morning to your grandfather.
Oh.
Cézanne found inspiration in the shape of La Montagne Sainte-Victoire, just outside Aix. Like him, it thirsted for sun, yet fell back to earth. He said he could occupy himself for months there without moving from the same place, just by turning slightly to the left or the right. He painted the mountain 60 times from different positions on different days.
Absolutely no future in the Impressionist artists. But frankly, he still keeps going. I've actually drawn a likeness of Cézanne that is too mild. My dear Cézanne doesn't think enough of public opinion. He despises the most elementary things, language, dress, hygiene.
It's here. It's arrived.
But none of this would matter if only he had genius.
Why don't you open it?
To Cézanne and his lack of genius.
Here. He suffered all the torments of the man condemned to roll a rock uphill forever or to be crushed when it rolls back on him. That's me.
It could be anyone.
No, I said that. He has written about me. There's an artist and his mistress, who is also his model, and their son.
What's wrong with that?
He calls the artist a splendid failure.
Oh, Paul, it's just a book.
How can a man talk sensibly about the art of painting? He doesn't know anything about it. How dare he say that an artist is finished because of one bad picture?
I have just received your novel, which you were kind enough to send me. I thank you for it and ask that you let me press your hand in memory of old and better times. Ever yours, your friend from the past.
Cézanne and Zola were never to meet again. What Zola did in his novel, which is called The Masterpiece, was to say that Impressionism was a failure.
Did you think it was based on Cézanne?
We were all in there, bits and pieces of our lives. The worst thing was, it broke Cézanne's heart. He had married Hortense by that time. He married her not for love, but so that Paul wouldn't have to suffer the stigma of having unmarried parents. 6 months after the wedding, his father died, leaving Cézanne and, indeed, Hortense a very generous income. His worries about money, like his feelings for Hortense and his friendship with Zola, were things of the past.
You'll have to hurry, or the carriage will leave with all your luggage.
You will come and stay.
Well, you know I don't like Paris.
We've got our own bathroom. Not that that would interest you. I think that's always been the difference between us.
Maybe. Paul. Now, be good. And if you're not, I've forgiven you already. Go on.
I wrote to my old Impressionist friends. We had to lay Zola's masterpiece to rest. We could not allow our names and Manet's memory to be equated with failure forever.
Right, there's something that I need to ask you both.
He wants us to buy 10 of his paintings for 100 francs.
I need 20,000.
Franks?
And I'm not going to give you anything in return.
All that fresh air's gone to his head.
I'm thinking of purchasing Manet's Olympia for the state, and I need 20,000 francs.
What's in it for you?
Sorry, how much?
20,000.
Right.
So Monet is thinking this is my chance to go down in history as the true leader of the Impressionist movement.
I'm thinking about Madame Manet.
I'll think about Madame Manet when and if she asks me to.
Impressionism will get a boost also.
Also, Monet will get a boost.
No.
Yes.
Come on, start me off. What do you say?
No.
Renoir?
No.
In the end, Renoir and Degas gave their contributions, and I raised enough money to buy Olympia. In 1907, it was hung in the home of French art, the Louvre. For once, I was closer to home. I'd found some haystacks and started with 2 canvases, one for Grey and one for Sunny.
Alice, the light's changing.
As the light changed on the haystack, the whole subject was transformed. And the light kept changing through the day, through different days.
How can anyone say that a landscape even exists when it changes so constantly?
You'll have to be quick.
And I only worked on each canvas in its light, seizing just the right moment at a stroke.
The light's fading.
Or that moment will be lost.
You look like a conductor.
Like a conductor holding a baton. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3. 15 pictures of the same thing, and they all sold in 3 days. Something had changed. The world, it seemed, was beginning to see things my way. A haystack. A haystack was as much of a subject as a vase of flowers. And if the finish wasn't smooth, no comment. It was the beginning of what became known as my series paintings. I painted poplar trees along the bank of the river. I went to Rouen to paint the cathedral. I couldn't sleep for nightmares that the cathedral was coming down on top of me. It was blue or pink or yellow. I must have done 30 paintings there. I thought I'd be in Rouen forever. I think Alice thought so too. She'd stayed on in Giverny. Our situation really couldn't go on. Our being together and not really being together. And I'll tell you something else that happened. Oshida died.
Alice, I've decided. I'm not going to work away anymore. I know I should wait. And I'm sorry. At last, there are no obstacles in our path. And I don't mean to call Ernest an obstacle. I don't want to distress you. Alice, are you listening to me?
Yes, yes.
All my life, I have travelled, looking for something. I thought that I would find it in seeing different things, but it's here. It's here. It's in seeing the same things every day.
I shall grow sick of you.
Will you?
I hope not.
We were married in July 1892, here in Giverny. I'd made enough money to buy the house. Alice loved it here. Oh, I miss her. Early in 1910, she felt very weak. Leukemia. In the spring, there was a remission, and you cling to the hope. My dear companion. Died on the 19th of May. Cling to your palate, they told me. Hardly picked up a brush for 3 years. Still, Cézanne struggled on alone, the very last of us to be recognized by the world.
Good morning.
Oh, it's a mess. It's too many loose strands and no centre. It's escaping. Errant hand.
Good day.
I have to tell you that I'm extremely busy. And will be for the rest of my life.
You're not very easy to find.
Perhaps I don't want to be found.
Every artist wants to be found. What are you working on?
It's a painting.
Please don't shout at me. Amboise voila. I'm an art dealer. I want to present an exhibition of your work.
Can't you think of better ways to waste your money?
People should see your work, or you'll die forgotten. I'll organize it all.
I noticed your rather spectacular collection of Japanese prints.
Oh, I'm a great admirer.
Did they inspire you for this garden?
Oh, I was inspired. There's no point in being inspired if you don't get any help. The local people, an artist is just a comedian who wore hats, someone to use. You know, they tried to chop down the poplars, and they charged me a toll to cross the fields to paint, dismantle the haystacks. And when I wanted to make my pond...
What was here before?
A marsh.
Alice!
I had been searching the world for what lay at my feet.
Alice!
I stopped hunting nature and invited her in. I diverted the stream and planted every known variety of water lily in the pond, and they flourished. I set up my easel in front of this body of water that contains in it all the elements of a universe, changing constantly under our very eyes. It's become an obsession. After all his reservations, Cézanne did agree to Vollard holding an exhibition of his work.
How many more have you got?
152.
152? I don't know if I can manage them all.
What?
I mean, at the gallery.
Well, you must.
I'll think of something. It'll be splendid. Thank you. Thank you. Ah, wonderful. Wonderful. There's there. Thank you so much. That's not quite 152.
Well, the big ones are in the other room.
Rarely do you come across a true painter. One who knows how to balance tones.
Do you have any idea how impossible it is for me to make collectors, even friends of the Impressionists, understand how precious Cézanne's work is? So still, so alive.
And I want Lestat.
Ah, the wild majesty of Lestat.
The still life is mine.
What? I saw it first.
I have my money out first.
Still life from Monsieur Degas. A painting of irreproachable perfection. You must be pleased with what we sold at the exhibition.
rightly say. I prepared it myself, so... so you won't fall so long as you stay still.
I'll be still as a statue.
As an apple.
As an apple?
Please. Do not speak. Clumsy fool. I told you to stay still. Well, that's enough for today. No. You wait. The exhibition. Did Zola come?
No.
All right. The idiot. If only he had. Now that I'm bowling Paris over with my masterpieces. Forgive me.
If only Cézanne had genius, Zola. Many critics thought that Zola's book was about Cézanne, but time will pass and people will understand that Zola's book was just a story.
People.
Cézanne!
I so wanted Cézanne to join us at Giverny that day. I was worried he'd be too shy to come.
To meet you. Celebrated sculptor Auguste Rodin is here.
I wanted him to know he did have admirers and true friends.
No, that's my hand. It's my hand. Right. Thanks for shaking my hand.
Shall we? Oh, yes. Renoir is celebrating the birth of his second son. Oh. It seems that family life is finally suiting him after all these years.
They've called him Jean. Yes, it's lovely.
Many of us here have been following you for years, Cézanne. And we know why the younger artists look to you for guidance. Those who were so quick to condemn you will find themselves astonished. A new era of art is opening.
Well, this is the promised land, and they certainly won't let me in.
Cézanne, you have shown us the future.
Bravo.
Bravo.
What Cézanne achieved will be appreciated. Not too late for Picasso and Matisse and the others he influenced, but too late for Cézanne.
He laid the foundations for a new century, for a new generation of modern painters. He died, must be 15 years ago, wishing, like all of us, that he had more time.
We're not revolutionaries anymore. We're a tradition.
Can you believe it?
A room of our own at the Great Exhibition.
If I could have 20 more years to work, I would create things that would endure.
At least we're still alive, eh?
To the greatest living painter. To myself.
To myself.
To Basile.
To Manet.
Manet.
Degas struggled on into his 80s. He found new passions, sculpture and photography. His work has endured and has become even more popular. Renoir was famous all around the world and feted as a society portraitist, much to his delight. He died last year, December 1919. Took part of my life with him.
It's nearly finished. You seem to be getting closer and closer to your subject.
Most likely what I'm attempting is beyond my powers. Most likely I shall die without knowing.
Monet has outlived them all. Now he is a hero, one of the most successful painters who ever lived, the father of Impressionism. We have his paintings and his garden, the fleeting moments, an impression of life.